Alright guys, so I got a different kind of video for you today, a little bit of a shipping video. So the best way to ship a slab. Now, this is different because everybody has their own ways of shipping a slab, and I think this might be one of the most interesting ways I've seen. I'm just kind of making it up, but if it works out right, the guy that bought this, James, it's going to show up tank proof, and I would feel a lot more comfortable shipping it now than just throwing it in a medium flat rate box. So check this out if this is something that even remotely interests you, because I promise you it's going to be unique, and hopefully we'll get this to its new owner safe and sound. All right, so what I'm going to do is, again, create a custom shipping container, box, something for this bad boy. It's not cheap, and that's why I'm deciding to put a little bit of extra time into the shipping. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this to do so. Now, all you're going to need, at least I hope all you're going to need, is a medium flat rate box. But this is basically going to think of it as a shell. Some saran wrap, because I still don't want to screw up that other book, even though it's not an expensive book. Foam. So I'm using the great stuff, foam in a can. This stuff is sticky, but I think it's going to work out well. I would probably get the one that expands a little bit more. This only expands up to 1 inch, but I actually used this whenever I created my custom camera bag case. It's this massive toolbox from, actually it's a massive gun case from Academy Sports, but I used this to create basically some phone inserts and stuff like that, and it worked out really well. So I'm going to do something very similar to that. All I'm going to do is basically take this, put it together, cut out the top. Now, I know obviously this is probably the most overboard way to ship something. I get it, but he spent a lot of money on this book. I want to make sure it gets to him. So I'm going to go a little overboard. So now all I'm going to do is use this as the shell. Now, I do a ton of woodworking, if you didn't know that about me. So this stuff, I have a ton of these tools and stuff already. I have 5 or 6 cans of these just from different projects. So it really doesn't cost much to do that. I mean, these are free. The great stuff's just a few bucks. And if you ship comic books, a lot of folks do use saran wrap. So you should probably already have some of this. Now, even though these, you know, are maybe a little sealed and stuff, I'm still gonna go ahead and wrap it up so that my great stuff doesn't ruin the slab, even though it's just a CGC case. So that's all it is right there. I just have it wrapped up. It's important to kind of get it, you know, nice and tight, because this is basically going to be like a buck or piece we're molding, right? So this is what we're going to be casting, and I want it to have the exact dimensions or as close as possible to this one that's actually going to be in there. Same CGC slab, it's all the same size. It's going to fit. So I'm going to bring you around here and show you what I'm about to do. Also, probably important to make sure your wife's good with this, because this stuff can probably make a mess, or do like I'm doing and just do it before she gets home. Now, to be very candid with you guys, probably would be best to line this with plastic, but I'm living life on the edge. So let's do it. So there it is. Just took some great stuff. And you probably could use actual foam for this, like if you did other crafts. Actual expandable foam meant for model making and mold making and stuff like that. Me, on the other hand, I'm going with what's cheap. Now, this stuff is super sticky, so don't touch it. Once it dries, it will dry just fine. And then I'm just basically gonna let this cure. I don't even know how long. So 15 minutes before it's tacky, and then 8 hours total cure time. So I'll come back out tomorrow, pull this thing out, and see what it looks like. I think it's gonna be good. And then what I'll do is I'll come around wherever it's kind of overlapping, use a razor blade, cut that off, and then I should have a perfect mold to ship this thing back in. I'm this close to just covering the whole thing and then creating like a full encapsulated mold and then just cutting it in half. I'm not sure yet. Not sure. Probably would work just fine though. Or what you could do is take a piece of plastic over the top of the foam, then put another layer of foam and smush it down. And how you probably could just ship it just like that after it cured. Probably would be good because this stuff doesn't put off a lot of heat. It's not going to ruin the slab at all. Only thing is, if you left it like that, they would have a heck of a time. They would have a heck of an unboxing. So, but I'm going the extra mile to make sure the slab arrives safely. Next thing we'll see is how it looks popping it out. All right, so I finally got it completely cured. This is what it looks like. All right, bowed out the back. I don't know if you can tell. There you go. You can kind of tell there. You can see the curve. May or may not have been a good idea, but we're gonna see. So what I plan to do is just basically cut around the edges here, release it, should come right out, and then see what the mold looks like underneath. I may have to flatten the back, but I think a little bit of cleanup work, it's gonna ship well. Do I think it's worth it? I don't know yet. All right, so got it done. Cut everything out like you saw in the video. It's not bad. Now, I will say, if I were to do this again, which I may before I actually send it off, I would probably use less because it does expand so much. And maybe that'll prevent some of the bad bowing. Or what I may actually do next time is, instead of using the actual slab, cut out a piece of plywood, put that in there, and find a way to keep that from moving. Maybe clamp it down, something like that. But all in all, I think this is probably not a bad way. If you look, literally, I mean, it's in there pretty snug. So you pull it out, and it will pop right in there. Very satisfying. It's not going to move. And then likely what I'm going to do is, if I do redo it, I will cover this whole thing in bubble wrap, close this, and then ship this inside a bigger box. Now again, I wouldn't do this for a $30 slab, $40, $200 slab. This is something where if I'm sending, I'm sending a $1,500, $100 slab out, I want to make sure it gets to him very well protected. But what's funny is I posted a little teaser of this in our members group we have on Instagram, and it was the really nasty looking photo of after I just got done spraying all the insulation. And he goes, please don't ship my Avengers 4 to me like that. And I was like, well, no, I wouldn't do that. But I think he thought I was kind of making a prank out of it, because I thought I would cover the whole thing if it was the Avengers. Then you could cut it open like a block, which, to be honest with you, would probably work and be hilarious. But I'm certainly not going to do that. But after I cleaned it all up, I mean, literally, this is just like a perfect foam insert to ship. And I'm pretty happy with it, to be candid with you. So I will probably do another test run with this, make sure it's all nice, and throw a ton of bubble wrap, close this up really, really, really good, and put it inside another box, wrap this thing up real nice, ship it priority mail next day, something like that. Get it to him fast, well insured. Yeah, actually this worked out better than I thought, to be very candid with you. And all the foam, it's literally just super soft. You know, I honestly, it's like any other foam you've probably ever dealt with. None of it's sticky, none of that. It's easy to cut, easy. It's like styrofoam packing peanuts type texture. So it is, yeah, pretty nice, not gonna lie. So would you do this? Honestly, it was a bit over the top. I think you probably still get away with some really good bubble wrap and some other things. However, I wanted to test this out because it's something that's kind of been on my mind. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna spend the time to do something like this, then I'm gonna do it on a comic book that's worth the time and effort and money to make sure it gets there safe. So let me know what you think. If I do send this, maybe I'll do an update video or just a quick update in one of our live shows that we do every Saturday night and say, hey, shipper or the buyer got it. Everything was good. He was happy. And that's really what's important. Make sure the book gets there and make sure he's happy with the end result. So all in all, not too bad. What are some of your craziest ways you've ever shipped a slab? I know pool noodles. Pool noodles, that's a good idea. Like very pool noodly texture. Yeah, that's probably what it's pretty close to be doing. Kind of the close texture to it. But all in all, guys, this was fun. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. If you happen to try this, put it on Instagram. But again, do not use an expensive slab for the molding or anything like that, just in case anything bows, bends, breaks during the expansion process. No, and do not. I was going to use a wooden box and decided to just use this instead, so it was cheap throwaway if I wanted to rip it off. Definitely use something flexible, because if you used a wooden box that wouldn't bow, instead of it bowing out of the back like it would have bowed straight up through the slab. And that is probably about a ½ inch to 1 inch curve, and I don't think those CGC slabs would take that kind of stress. But anyway, guys, you're the best part of Two Brothers Comics, and as always, collect your way.